guys are here early and everything. I'm actually here on time, which by itself is a dang miracle. Hi, Dustin. Hello, Kelly. And hi, Jen. Hi, Sue. Hi, Zane. Hello, Betty Bell. How's everybody doing? Hi, Deb. How is everybody? I was looking at the preview images. I'm just going to overshare for a moment. I am in desperate need of a new henna treatment. Look at this. My wife is slacking.
Say what?
I blame her because she does my henna, but it's a process. I don't want it. I don't want it. No. Oh, hello. Hi. Whoa.
Look away.
I flipped out the camera.
Here and blame me for shit. You haven't even been on for 5 seconds.
Already causing trouble.
Yes.
I was blaming you, but I don't want to do it myself. She did buy me coffee.
I bought you a coffee. Yeah,
and a sparkly cup. Have you guys seen this? I know I showed it in my favorites, but like, isn't it like a unicorn cup? I love it so much. Oh my God. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, Mia. Hi, Sophie. Oh my gosh, I'm going to miss people. Hi, Susan. M.A., Matthew, Darcy. Welcome, Rebecca. Welcome to all the craziness. I am apologizing in advance for what happens in my live chats. Just so you know. Long hair, skinny-eyed toe. I feel like it's been ages since I've seen you. All right, so welcome to Eclectic Witchcraft. I am going to be chatting about sourcing magical supplies today. And I want to thank Jessica Reed. I mentioned it in the description box and on the Facebook group, but Jessica commented, I can't remember on which video because my memory is lame, but Jessica mentioned something about asking me where I get or how I built up like an herbal apothecary. I like to call it apothecary because it makes me feel witchy AF, but really it's a drawer in a dresser with all of my stuff in it. But it feels fancy, so I'm going to give it a fancy name. Oh, Shaylee has a cup like this. It's so freaking beautiful. I just keep playing with it.
It's a cup.
I know, but look at this. It's got sequins.
Oh my God.
Okay, Peggy's teasing me, but guess who pointed this cup out to me? That one.
I was having a stroke.
You're so full of crap. She knows my taste, guys. That is love. No need you remind me of me. Oh, good. Oh, good. Hello, Katie. In case I didn't say hello already. And if I did, I just said hello twice because that is how my short-term memory works. This has been a day, y'all. This was a day. Whew. Okay, so I have notes because I have so many things I want to remember to talk about. And this is such a fun topic. And I'm so glad that I got the question because yeah, I guess if you're watching if you're watching one of my videos and I'm like whipping up a magical oil and I'm like pulling out ingredients left, right, and center, it can be like, huh, how though? So I thought we could talk about where you can get stuff and like how you can get started if you're wanting to do magical workings and you feel like you don't have a lot of supplies and like where to go for supplies and all of that kind of good stuff. I think caffeine is a very necessary supply for most things. Yes, that's where I end with that. Oh, and Shayla's saying hello, and Bruno. I hope everybody has a snack or a beverage. I approve of all of those people who say that they are crafting while watching. I do that all the time. In fact, if I'm doing something, whether it's coloring in a coloring book or like playing with my paints or doing a deck mod, I always have some kind of YouTube on in the background. See, Jen says hi to the doggos. Yeah, Rebecca says, I quickly grew my collection with the Witch's Moon. Yeah, exactly. Ooh, Rebecca's in her bullet journal of shadows. That is awesome. You guys, I am so excited. I'm not ready yet, but I am so excited to make a video talking about all of my 2021 journaly, plannery kind of setup fun things because I have so many plans. I'm probably going to get myself in trouble with all the plans that I have. But not that kind of trouble. Peggy's looking at me like, what'd you do? Not that kind of trouble. I mean, like, I may overwhelm myself slightly. Also, yeah. So I guess I thought I would check in with you guys and ask, are there, like, we're going to talk about herbs, crystals, oils, candles, and I have a section for other. But if you guys have specific categories of things you're curious how to sort of build up supplies or gather supplies or whatever, make a mental note of those or toss it in the comments whenever you think of it. I don't mind if we go a little scatterbrained with these kinds of things because that's basically my world anyway. So ready for 2021. I think December is fun because you get to plan for your planners for 2021. Am I like alone in that? Like, I feel like that's one of the funnest things is you get to look at what you've been doing all year and what your setups are.
Your hobby is planning things.
Yes. Planning can be a hobby. Anybody agree? Like, I'd like a show of hands, please. Who thinks planning is a hobby? First time in decades I've ever paid full. Oh, wait, paid full for what? What did I miss? Jen in all caps. Yeah, Jen's one of my planner nerd friends. She gets it. I know she gets it. Sue's looking through my Madame Lydia Wilhelmina's. That deck has the longest name ever, but it looks cool. So I hope you're loving it. That's one that's kind of hovered on and off my list. See, Darcy agrees. I get a hand from Erin. There's a few people that agree. Yeah, see, Harmonious Path. Planning is a hobby, and I love December for getting ready for the new year. Yes. More people. Planning is a hobby. Absolute or hobby. I said hobby. Shush, you're not supposed to be listening to all of my weird words. Y'all, weird words has been a thing for me lately. I flub my words all the time.
What bizarre language
so
are you
funny.
channeling this time?
Yeah, Rebecca, planning is absolutely my hobby. If my planner isn't my version of fancy, I can't do it. Okay, so here's the funny thing. I love playing with planners, but my planner stuff is always messy AF. These people that do these beautiful aesthetic planners, I'm talking about you, Dawn Michelle, in case you watch this later.
Oh my God.
I don't get it, though, because it's so hard and I'm so lazy.
Unfriending Lisa, my God.
Unfriend. Hello, Jujubee. Yes, I love making lists. I literally just watched a YouTube video the other day, which was I don't know what it was called. What was it called? I'll see if I can find it, but it was basically called something like 10 ways to make 10 different kinds of to-do lists. Yeah, Dustin's gonna glide Dawn right now and tattle on me. But I can't make it pretty. I don't have the patience.
All of a sudden, you're gonna get a notice from Dawn going, "Why do I have 37 messages?"
Everybody ratting me out. I know.
That should be the new hobby. Every time Lisa says something, then everybody has to go message the person that she said shit about you. Go get her.
I know. People enjoy getting me in trouble. Like lots of people. That's a hobby all by itself. Okay. Oh yeah. So I want to comment on this. So who was it that said it? Somebody said Sue. Was it Sue? I was looking for a moon planner, but I couldn't afford the one I wanted. So now I have an exercise book. You know what though? That's what's great about bullet journaling and you can bullet journal in anything. Do not buy the hype that you have. Let's just start off with talking about magical journals. Let's source magical journals because I'm on the topic anyway. You can actually with bullet journaling style planning, let's say you want a moon planner, you just get a blank planner or not a blank planner, a blank journal, dot grid, graph, blank, lined. And you can draw layouts.
Dollar store notebook. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, dollar store notebook. And you can basically find tons of ways to lay out pages and keep track of things like the moon phases. So you can totally make things happen in super cheap notebooks. So yeah, that's a thing. Kelly Holt, I'm almost done jotting down my herbs and magical properties journal. I have 11 herbs left to jot down. I got the Moonology planner. I got a fancy planner for next year. And I also have a bunch of notebooks, some of which I've made, so I'm excited about that, and just lots of fun things to talk about. Still plain, but I made them and I'm excited. Good journeys, Tara. I've been getting a blank planner with bullet pages and decorating it myself the last 2 years. And somebody mentioned was it Crazy Fox? Check out Crazy Fox planners. Yeah, I've heard those are really good. They're on Amazon, I believe, and I think you can find. I think Danny of Danny Mystic did a review. I think they sent her one to review. I think she did a review of a Clever Fox. Maybe it's Clever Fox, not Crazy Fox. I think it might be Clever Fox. I didn't start it. Those are really good and they're affordable. Oh, Harmonious Path with Jen. I haven't even had time to think about what I'm doing planner journal wise. And disc bound systems. Oh my God, there's so many cool journal things. Oh, I know. We're going to have a journal chat. That's going to happen in the future. It's going to happen. Oh yeah, Dustin also has a Clever Fox. See, Clever Fox, not Crazy Fox. Yep, that's what it is. Okay, we are actually going to dive into magical supplies, I swear. But journaling is kind of in that realm. All right, so let's start off talking about, oh yeah, Dustin's really tempted by the Magickal Eye. That's the one I got for next year. You should get it. It's pretty. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna try. I do
Welcome
have
to the Lisa tempting you to buy shit channel.
I do have a venti peppermint mocha
She has
frappuccino.
caffeine, sorry.
So apologies in advance. This is why I should do wine for these chats, because maybe it brings me down slightly. No, does it actually though? Peggy, you tell me. Am I calmer with wine than coffee? No, same.
Much wine.
Like, does the calmness increase with the wine consumption or decrease with the wine consumption?
Well, it depends on whether or not you've eaten, to be honest. So.
I still want to know which way the scale goes.
I don't know.
Let's say I've eaten nothing and I've had 3 glasses of wine. Am I calmer than 0 glasses of wine and food in my belly?
If you and had 3 glasses of wine, we need to talk.
Okay, but she's just not going to answer the question. Some of you guys have seen me have a glass of wine, so you tell me. I don't know.
Okay, you're a lightweight, and some days you're a mega lightweight.
That's true. So, Harmonious Path with Jen. Has anyone seen the ritual planner advertised? Okay, so Dustin told me about that one. He'd seen it. I feel like I saw it, but I didn't dive in. So, I don't know. So, yeah. Rebecca, bring on more witchy magical journal conversations and videos. Yes! Stay tuned. Hopefully, later in December or January, when my setup is actually finished and I can talk about it, we are going to have a chat for sure. Okay, so I'm going to try to rein myself in and talk about magical supplies. I'm going to do my best. So I thought we would talk about herbs first, because I think when I think of a sort of magical apothecary or a witchy apothecary, the first thing I think of is herbs. First of all, please note my apothecary is not very #aesthetic. It's just, it is what it is. It's as aesthetic as I can get it while still being cheap and lazy. So that's where I'm coming from with it. I think the thing to remember, and I want to kind of kick this off with this part. I think the thing to remember is you actually don't need, in my opinion, for an eclectic witchcraft practice, and your mileage is going to seriously vary depending on what your practice looks like and what you're drawn to and like what kind of magic you feel like you want to do, whether you want to do very ceremonial magic where there's a lot of like tradition and history and maybe pre-existing recipes and things like that, versus more organic, eclectic, which is where I go with it, right? I'm very organic. I'm very eclectic. I want plant medicine and herbal medicine that I work into my magic to feel like it makes sense to me. Like if somebody told me that cinnamon was an energy that was very calming, for example, that might not resonate for me because cinnamon feels very vibrant and fiery to me. So I guess what I'm saying is that I go by what something feels like and what makes sense to me more than what a book tells me. So hopefully that makes sense. And you can kind of have a feel for how I come at the practice myself. With that said, in my opinion, you don't need any ingredients at all for starters. We've talked about this in previous chats when we've talked about intention and kind of the basic stuff. Really, at the end of the day, in my opinion, magic starts with intention and focus. And every layer you add after that is just like more and more icing on the cake, right? So I think when you're new to the craft and you're feeling like, okay, I want to play, I want to do magic, I want to do spell work, we can feel like we need to have all of the things to get started. And quick segue, we can feel like we need all of the things to get started with just about anything. I can't tell you how many times I've heard from other people or had this experience myself where I feel like, oh, I can't do thing X because I don't have, Peggy's giving me such eyes right now, because I don't have all of these things I think I'm supposed to have. We may or may not have had many a conversation back in the day dealing with my imposter syndrome because I thought that I couldn't. Okay, you can stop now because I thought like, okay, to be a teacher, I need to have this, to be, to open it, to make videos. Okay, enough. I'm going to start throwing things at you. But this is something a lot of us deal with is we feel like, oh, I can't be a real witch unless I have all of these herbs. I can't be a YouTuber unless I have a fancy camera. I mean, whatever it is that kind of gets in the way of you and what it is you want to do, like stop it, because there's usually a way around it, right? Or usually you don't need all the things you think you do. And sometimes we tell ourselves we can't do X, Y, Z until we have these things because it's a great way to, because it's a great way to, procrastinate because we're afraid or we're nervous or we are worried we're going to do it wrong.
It's fear of success.
Fear of success. It can be multiple things.
Fear of success.
I can think it's procrastination, and Peggy can bite
Self-sabotaging
me.
and fear of success.
Yes, it's those
I
two.
can add layers to this.
I can add
keep
layers too.
going.
We're gonna fight on YouTube. This is what we do, though. This is what we do. I haven't filmed my say yes to the deck yet, so I gotta be nice so she'll help me pick something good and not talk me down too much. Oh my God, that laugh. Okay.
It's Christmas. You should be saving the money to buy me a present.
So all of the disclaimers.
Hey.
I'm ignoring you. So all of the disclaimers about how you don't.
Appropriate timing or inappropriate timing?
Appropriate timing.
Oh.
So now that we've had the disclaimers about you don't really need anything, it's still fun to play with ingredients, right? So tip number 1, I dream of doing ritual work. Does that count? I think it counts. But then you want to take the next step, right? So tip number 1, you technically don't need anything. You need your intention. Sometimes it's helpful to visualize or to have something on paper that you can write down, things like that. You don't really need anything. But let's play with the idea that we want things. So like we want to work with things.
Stuff.
Stuff. We like stuff in this community, don't we? Yes, we do.
Oh my God.
One of the things I think is really, really important is first, shop your stash is what we would say. Shop your house, shop your environment, because a lot of times there are things already in your environment that you can use. And starting with herbs, that begins in the kitchen, because there are usually some pretty potent magical herbs already in your cupboards, depending on how much you cook or don't cook, or have cooks in your home or don't have cooks in your home. Like you may be actually pretty sparse, but let's say you have a couple basic herbs. And if you don't, you can get them at the grocery store pretty cheap. So let's start with some basics, right? Salt.
Yeah, like, hey, honey, do you want tacos? No, I'm doing a ritual.
Well, not with the taco seasoning.
No, I just meant like with all the different things if you were making your own.
Gotcha. Okay.
You just don't get it.
No.
Oh my God.
I'm
wasting good material on you.
Don't waste the material on me.
Yeah.
And then we're good. Liberia, so true. I remember when I was starting that I only had salt, rosemary, and rice. Yes, for spell work. Looking back, I still use these in my craft. Having limited tools helps you stretch your creativity. You know, this actually is super, super true. There are certain things that if you learn some basic everyday things that you're going to have around you all the time and use them in your practice, it can become super potent, and those become your comfy, cozy fallbacks, right? Even as you build this like huge library of things, which you may or may not do, you have these things that you can always go to. And some people stop there. Lots of people stop there. I stopped there for years before I started acquiring like more things. But in the kitchen, salt is like such a great all-arounder that you can use for so many different things. And you can Google any of these things. You can look them up in your herbal, you can look them up in herbal books like Scott Cunningham's Magical Encyclopedia of Herbs or Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, that sort of thing. But let's think about some basics that we often have in our cupboards. So salt, pepper, both great. Bay leaf is amazing, and you can do so many things with it.
Dude, you're describing soup.
Yeah, I'm not even there yet. Oregano, thyme, basil. These are
spaghetti sauce.
These are all fantastic.
I'm getting hungry.
Y'all will stop. You're fine. What else? What else? Rosemary is fantastic. A lot of us have dried rosemary. Cinnamon is super fabulous. I already mentioned cinnamon. Sometimes we have other like sort of cinnamony kind of things like clove, pumpkin pie spice. There's all kinds of things you might have in your cupboard.
Pumpkin pie spice?
Yeah, because it's got cinnamon.
Oh, because it's got the
clove, nutmeg, I think. There's lots of things. If you literally right now
do a bit of homework and make sure that it actually contains what you're looking for.
Yeah, like right now, if you go into your cupboard and you get out a piece, sugar and honey, exactly, eggshells. Okay, eggshells are easy, and I recently started adding these because they're such a great protection thing. When you're cracking eggs, you just leave them out on your counter so they can dry a little bit.
You're gonna pull the membranes out.
Yeah, first. you have to pull the membranes out. I found it easier, if I remember correctly, I dried them and then pulled them. Did I pull the membranes out and then dry them?
I believe you dried them first.
I can't remember which order I did. You can look it up.
You dried them first because the membranes were easier.
Yeah, the membranes peel right out if you dry first.
Peel out as much of the membrane as you can, but if there's bits that are stuck, you can get them out by drying it and then brushing them up.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was called cascarilla powder. So Liberius is ahead of me and says eggshells for cascarilla powder. Yeah, I like keeping big chunks of dried eggshells.
With that shit though, so just warning you.
I like to keep them in a jar and then just break them up as I need them. You can see me actually do that in the video where I'm making the magical oil and sachet for Dawn of Bohotero. So you'll be able to see that if you want to check that process out. So if you were to take a piece of paper and a pencil and go into your kitchen and write down every ingredient you have in there everything that you can think of. Any spice, any herb, anything for baking, brown sugar, molasses. There are lots of things. Honey jars are a great, fun, magical thing to do.
But not honey pots.
Anyways, if you make a list and then look up all of those, you are just such a shit show tonight. She's just over there playing video games, being the peanut gallery.
Okay, you've got like 3 million bells now.
Thank you. She's getting me bells on Animal Crossing as we speak. Star anise is a great one. Yes. Yeah. So if you make a list of all your ingredients you already have, and then go to your computer or go to your books and look up what the properties are for everything that you can find. I literally will sit at the computer sometimes and just Google magical properties of blah ingredient because I have it and I want to know if it's something I might want to incorporate. And step 2 of this, in my opinion, again, please preface that this is all just my opinions. But step 2, once I've looked it up, is I think about it. Okay, so I've looked up cinnamon and it says cinnamon is great for, let's say, money work and anything related to fire and blah, blah, blah. I think about that and I go, does that make sense to me? And if it does, then I like put a check by it or I make a note that that makes sense to me. Because that to me is the second piece of getting to know an ingredient is like, okay, yeah, I'll look it up. But just because like the internet or a book says that it means this doesn't mean that to me. Because for my magic, it has to make sense to me. So that's like one thing. Start from what you have. Like that's number 1 piece of advice for all of the things. But then I'm going to share some of the other ways that I think it's helpful or places you can go if you've worked with what you have, you're ready to add more, or you have a budget for adding more and you want to buy more, or you're at a place where you just really want better variety. There's a few things you can do. I built up a lot of what I have through subscription boxes, which you guys have seen me unbox on the channel. So for about a year, I was subscribed to the Witch's Moon, their flagship box, and their Witch's Moon box. Every single month, you typically get 2 to 3 bags about this size. I just brought some to show you that have a little bit of an herb. And the little sheet that comes with the box will usually tell you a little bit about that herb. Not a lot, it's not exhaustive. It's like a piece of parchment, but it'll give you a little bit. So I have here Damiana, watercress, and boneset herb. None of these I probably would have picked up on my own, but now that I have them, I can look them up, decide what I think about their properties, and if I want to pull this into my apothecary. What I would do as I got these for the first year, Rebecca, well, for me, it was because I got so much stuff. So I unsubscribed after a little over a year to the Witch's Moon because I had acquired enough things and I was hitting a point where I was like, okay, I need a break from so much stuff. I really enjoy their Witch's Roots box, which I'll talk about too.
I don't think you're done forever though.
Oh, no. No, I get the Witch's Roots. They send that one to me for review. I get the Witch's Bounty off and on, just depending on budget. But one of the things I will say is I like the Witch's Roots because almost everything that comes in that box is consumable. Whereas the Witch's Moon, you also get magical tools and like bigger, fancier things. And I was hitting my limit on bigger, fancier things as far as space goes and stuff. But I will definitely probably subscribe to that one off and on over the years if I'm craving a little influx of more magical tools into my life. But what was nice is that you get a little bit of everything. You got some incense, you got a candle or 2, you got some herbs, you got a stone or 2, a magical tool. So it was a nice kind of witchy sampler box. But I loved that we got 2 or 3 little bags of herbs. So I built up a cute little library really quickly of herbs. And so what I would do with these when they came in is I would go to my dollar store and I could get these like glass bottles with little cork toppers for like 2 or 3 to a pack for $1. And they don't hold a ton. You can also get even smaller ones. But I would get these and I would just label the herb, or sometimes, and it was hit or miss, but sometimes I could actually successfully peel this label off and put it onto my bottles, which makes them look even cooler. Most of the time though, I'm lazy and I just take about a half of a printer label and I label it. And what I would find is as I would work through the herb, if I ended up using the entire herb up, I would decide at that point, do I like working with this herb enough to replace it? Like, do I want to keep this forever? Or was it just fun to work with and I'm going to let it go now that it's gone? And any that I decide that I want to replace, I would then go to one of my herbal sources to replace, which I'll be talking about in a second.
With food quality, so you can't accidentally make yourself sick.
Yeah. Rebecca, what'd you say?
True.
Oh, food quality?
Well,
not all of these are consumable though.
No, but there's people that a lot of people don't like using the stuff that you get at the grocery store just for not ethical, but more like magical properties reasons, whatever. But if it's food quality, and if you're using food quality herbs that you've gotten from a grocery store, and you do a tincture or something like that, then your tincture is fully edible.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, if you're starting with kitchen herbs, you know you're using stuff that can be consumed. That's a very good point that Peggy made.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to make a tea or a tincture or something like that. That's a really good point. Yeah.
I mean, if you're making a sage smudge, you're not too concerned where the sage comes from. But if you want to eat that sage, if you want to put that sage in a tincture, you want to know that sage is edible.
As far as food grade or not. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh my God, I said something that wasn't.
Good job, babe. You did.
Wow,
MA says,
really distracted.
I usually can get the labels right off the witch's roots, herb packers, and onto glass. Yeah, I usually can too. There's like a fly right in front of me. It's bugging me. Oh my gosh, when you showed those small vials with labels there, I feel like I'm being read. Why? Do you do it like super basic like me? Deb says, I've been trying to find a good subscription box. I've tried to go for the Witch's Moon a few times, but it's always sold out. Hi, Kay. Okay, y'all. Here's the tip for the Witch's Moon. It's more that they open up subscriptions only at specific times than that they're always sold out. So the impression when you go to their site and you try to sign up is like, oh, they're sold out. I guess there's a waiting list or I've got to wait. It's actually not. It's a little misleading. What it is that if they pack all of the May boxes, let's say, April 20th to 30th, they don't want new subscriptions coming in because they have a point where they have to like order everything in because they know how many boxes they're shipping out. So naturally, they open up subscriptions for a period of time for the following month, and then they close them so that they know they'll have enough for everybody. So what happens is that then when they're ready to order for the next month, they open up subscriptions again for a little while, make sure they know how many subscriptions they're purchasing for. This is how I assume it works.
They open up
and then they close it again
during their purchasing cycle so that they know that they're purchasing enough.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Peggy just said the same thing I said. That's what I said. Anyways, so all you need
I said it better.
Shut up.
You look so grumpy.
Anyways, so all you need to do if you want to subscribe to any of the Witch's Moon boxes is follow their Facebook account or their Instagram account, because once a month, or sign up for their newsletter, because once a month they will say, hey guys, this is the theme for next month's Witch's Moon box. Subscriptions will open on this date. And so they usually give you a little heads up that subscriptions are going to open, and then they usually keep them open for, I don't know how many days, but for a period of days. So you'll have an opportunity to do. Now, I didn't know how all this worked. So when I first wanted to sign up, I actually messaged them on Facebook and was like, are y'all sold out? And they wrote me back and they said, no, subscriptions should open around the beginning of the next month or whatever it was. And they said, would you like us to message you when it's open? And I said, yes, please. And they did. And it was amazing. So then I signed up. So it's pretty much that easy. It's misleading when you first try to sign up. But so I liked the Witch's Moon because I got a little surprise bundle of a few different herbs to play with at the beginning of every month or the middle of every month or whatever. And this was a great way to build up. So now I have like 30 of these little jars. And because I use just a little bit of herb at a time for most herbs, these last forever for me. Like a baggie like this, I could use a baggie
of herb.
Sounds bad, right?
It sounds really bad.
But yeah, a baggie like this lasts me actually a long time. This is the Damiana. This is, I don't think I've used a whole lot of that actually. But they just give you like a couple tablespoons. It's not a lot, but like it's enough to get a feel for an herb and if you want to play with it. Hi, Dawn. I maybe used your name in vain earlier. Everybody's about to tattle on me, just so you know. Hi, welcome.
Oh my God. She's not even drinking.
I'm not. I have caffeine. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so let's see, Liberius. About the herbs from the Witch's Moon and Witch's Roots, they also specify on the list if they are food grade or not. Most of the time, the herbs are for external use only. Thank you for pointing that out. I don't think that I've noticed because I don't typically make herbs for consumption unless I do significant amounts of research first, because I'm a scaredy cat and I don't want to mess with stuff. Welcome. It's fine. It's fine to be late. And let's see, I like the Witch's Roots. Okay, so this is what I also wanted to say. So just so you have a comparison. So
I can't find Daisy May.
Okay, I'm sorry, honey. She's having...
You don't understand.
She's having Animal Crossing problems. So these are the size of the baggies that come of herbs in the Witch's Moon box. And again, you usually get 2 or 3 herbs. What's nice, which Liberia... Was it Liberia that just pointed out? No, who pointed it out? MA. Emma just pointed it out. I like that the witch's roots is just one herb at a time. So in the witch's roots box, the focus is one herb per month. And the box is kind of themed around that herb, which is really lovely if you want to get to know herbs better. And in my opinion, is less overwhelming, because getting 3 herbs at a month, I actually found it was a struggle to get to know them because I was getting so many that it was a little bit slower for me to like actually get a chance to work with them. When you get the witch's roots box, for comparison, so this is the amount of herb you'll get in a witch's roots. You'll just get, or witch's moon rather, you'll get a few, right? 2 to 3. And then in the witch's roots, you get one of these bigger pouches for comparison of an herb. So this was the month that we got chamomile. So this would actually fill one of my little jars, as you can see, several times over. So it's really nice for those core herbs that you want to build up. And that means you're only going to get 12 herbs in an entire year, which in my opinion is a lot less overwhelming. And you'll get to know each herb a lot better if you're only getting 1 a month. So it kind of depends on what your goal is. If you want to subscribe to a box that you can get a bunch of things and build up your witchy toolkit in general, Witch's Moon is great because you'll build up incense, candles, bath salts, oils, all the things, right? As well as herbs. Witch's Roots is great if you want to focus on just building up primarily a little herbal apothecary of herbs you get a chance to get to know, as well as some tumbled stones, incense, oils. Fantastic, right? Fantastic. So anyways, that's how that works. Now, if you get the Witch's Bounty, it does not come with an herb. It comes with a candle, usually a small spell candle. It comes with an oil and your main pendant piece, of course, incense still, and a stone usually. So happy to answer questions about those because I was actually subscribed to all 3 or was getting all 3. I think
greedy girl.
For about 6 months, I think I got all 3. And yes, I'm a greedy girl. We know this about me.
Okay, fine.
The Witch's Bounty is so beautiful and well worth it. What's neat about that, you can subscribe to it. You can subscribe to it and then set yourself to get it only every 60 days or only every 90 days, and you can skip boxes. So for a bit there, I was subscribed to the Witch's Bounty and had it set up so that I would only get it twice a year because I would set it up every 90 days and then skip one every other one. You should get at least 1, Dawn. Yes, I approve. Everybody go buy it now. I'm not an affiliate. I don't earn any money. I just really like them. So yeah. So that is subscription boxes. Now, another subscription box I wanted to mention, and I'm going to pull it up so I can show it to you because I found it when I was actually prepping for this video, is called Apothecary at Home. I reached out to them just to see if they had any tips or information about, and I didn't hear back. So I don't know if they're new. I don't really know a lot about them, but I'm going to share my screen so you guys can see it for yourself. So let me pull up Apothecary at Home. Let's make sure it's visible. So this one looks really, really cool. I found this out. It basically says that each box you typically will get some herbs as well as seeds, which I think is really cool because you get some information about the herbs. So like in this example box you see here, it looks like you got some beeswax, some dropper bottles, some salve tins, some mason jars, 4 ounces of each herb, and seeds for each herb. And I think this is really, really a cool concept because I think not only are you learning about the herb, now this has more of like an herbal medicine kind of leaning, but I think not only are you learning about the herb with this, but they're also giving you something you can make out of the herb. It looks like in this case, you're probably making a salve and maybe a tincture based on these supplies I see here with the beeswax and stuff. And you're getting to learn how to grow that herb. So not only is it like, hey, here's some dried herb, but here's some seeds, here's some stuff. So it says that you get a generous portion of dry herbs and seeds based on a monthly theme. You get materials and instructions for home medicine making projects. So these are meant to be like actual like herbal medicines that you're making, as well as bonus study guides, gifts, and goodies for your home apothecary. Now, I've never tried this subscription box. I think it's in the US, but I believe I looked and they ship to US and Canada.
They shouldn't.
No, herbal, no, because I get Witch's Roots here too.
The seeds. You can't ship seeds across international borders.
Yeah, you can.
No, you can't. It's illegal.
No, I've ordered seeds from international, and I looked it up. I think it's okay if they're sealed. I think it's okay.
Well, it has to be indigenous at the very least. It can't be.
You can't. Yeah, you can't order invasive species. There's certain types of seeds you won't be able to order. Yeah, Katie said the same thing, certain seeds. Let's look at their FAQ because I think this is where I found the information on shipping. Yeah, do you ship worldwide? At this time, we're only accepting orders within the United States, Canada, Australia, and the UK. This is due to varying laws about mailing herbs and plant material internationally.
Yes.
So they are aware of what the herbs are, but this one
There's
looks.
no way that package will get into Australia. I mean, New Zealand.
Oh, right. Yeah. And they are based in California. And it's priced at $39.99 US a month. So I've never tried this box. It caught my attention because I think if I was just getting into herbs, I feel like this would be really, really cool. So it's called the. Oh, I went to their shop and I didn't mean to. I want to go back to their subscription. Yeah, so subscribe or give a gift. So I thought this one was really cool. And if I was just getting started, this would be a really neat one to start with. Like just the fact that you get to make stuff and there's like guides on how to make things. I just think this one's really neat looking. So if you were looking to build your herbs, I think this would be a fun one to try. Just my opinion. So I'm going to go back to just me for a sec. Okay. So that's Christian Benjamin. If you can't burn herbal incense I have can't talk. I have things to say about that. Hold on. Somebody said something. If you can't burn herbal incense at home, what are your thoughts on herbal oracle decks instead? I have two thoughts. First thought, if you can't burn incense, hey babe, love you. You know, will you grab, on my white display where my book is in the bedroom, there's a little blue tea light burnery thing. Will you grab that for me, please? Thank you. Anyways,
what's in it for me?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Then why am I getting off my lazy ass?
Because you love me. Get up! Oh my god! She just stops like, wait, what? Two things. If you can't burn herbs, first of all, I actually don't burn herbs very often at all, if ever anymore, because I can't stand how smoky it gets with loose incenses. I used to do it a lot, not so much anymore. I put herbs into sachets. I also put herbs into bath salts. I put herbs into oils. I put herbs around things that I'm charging. Yeah, Dustin says I developed my mist sprays specifically because of situations I could not burn herbs in.
This guy.
Yeah, and then this is a hack I learned a bit ago, and I love this hack so much. I've talked about it before, but I'm going to share it again.
Apparently I do love you.
Apparently you do love me, yes. So these things, you can often find these things at dollar stores. This one was a dollar store one, if I remember correctly. It currently has a wax melt in it because I got sent some delicious wax melts. This one's apple. So good. I have a couple of these. However, if you can't deal with smoke, but you want to work with herbal energies as if they were incenses, you can make incense blends out of loose herbs. Light your candle at the bottom. In the top, I would recommend putting a little square of aluminum foil just to keep your container clean, although I'm frankly too lazy to do that 99% of the time, and it just makes it hard to clean later.
It would be super awesome if you get some scentless wax.
Why would I get scentless wax?
So you can drop your herbs in the wax, and then you can smell the herb instead of whatever the scent of the wax is.
I don't know if that would work.
Well, I don't know. Nobody's tried it.
Well, anyways,
I have no idea.
I put the loose herbs in the foil in one of these burners on top. And essentially what I have noticed happens is that the herbs essentially...
Okay.
Are you okay?
I did the mental math and realized I've made about 10 million bells today.
Good job. Send me money. Anyway, I put the loose herbs in the top of one of these, and they essentially lightly toast, in my opinion. They don't really burn. Occasionally, I'll see the tiniest little wisp of something, but no smoke. No smoke. She's excited because she's like doing some kind of hack in Animal Crossing to make us all rich.
I'm not doing a hack. I time travel, and I've got a really high price on turnips right now.
She's really excited, guys.
Like an insanely high price on, well, 350 some odd. So
okay. Yeah. So that's one of the things I love to do so that I can work with the plant energies.
This is important.
Oh, Moira says, can you use crushed incense sticks in a burner the same way? I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe I would experiment. If I was going to do something like that, I would probably lightly scrape the incense material off of the incense stick, put it in the foil, and just see if it'll toast the same way. It might. But don't forget there's pieces of wood in there too, and I don't know.
You could probably put a few drops of water in it as long as you kept an eye on it.
Why would you put water in it for?
Well, either put a few drops of water under your foil to keep it from getting too hot.
Oh, I want mine to get hot so it'll toast.
Well,
oh, you mean if it's an issue, like to add water?
If you have a few drops of water in there, the water will boil, but then it will keep. No,
I just want to sniff this.
It
smells so good.
It will keep the more volatile things from igniting.
Oh, I see what she's saying. So yeah, long answer, I don't know, but I have put loose resins in with my herbs, so like copal or frankincense or amber incense resins or myrrh. I've put those up here, and it does beautifully. It does beautifully. In fact, I would argue that resins are more fragrant than dried herbs in the top of this, but I find dried herbs work great in here, and I also find they release scent for a very, very, very long time. So I'll have a little pinch of herbs in a little foil thing, and it lasts ages. So I have jars of loose incense blends I've either purchased or made or gotten in boxes, and I'm never going to use them up because a little teeny amount of herb goes a long way. Whereas when you sprinkle onto a charcoal disc, it flares, it smolders, it smokes, it's done. You have to keep adding more, right? So it's very, it's a great way to make ingredients last, to do it this way as well as just keeping your smoke down. And a lot of people are sensitive to smoke, which is something you have to be aware of.
Yeah.
Oh, and to get back to the original question, which was actually about using cards. Sorry, because I did kind of go off the rails there a bit. Absolutely, in my opinion, you can use cards to hold an intention. I do this all the time. I use tarot often in my magical work. In fact, I would hesitate to say that I have, wait, how do I say this right? I would say that I can't think of a time I haven't used tarot in my magic recently. Stovetop potpourri, heck, I almost said the F word. Heck yeah. Yeah, totally.
Why didn't you say the F word?
Because I just didn't want to. Stop it. Don't pick on me. Liberia says, oh, I tried what Peggy suggested too. Mixing a bit of salt with the herb and just smelling them is also okay. I think it's called smelling salts. Good tip. Great tip, actually.
Smelling salts are meant to smell horrible because it wakes you up from a faint.
Well, but you can make nice smelling salts.
But there's a different type of salts that there's a different word for it. Something salts, aromatic salts.
Oh, aromatic salts. Okay. I do salts.
Very old school.
Yeah, C. Moira says I don't have to swear if I don't want to. I swear all the time off camera, but I'm so used to not swearing as much on camera that it's just weird for me sometimes. So, for example, spell work. Make chai from scratch. Most amazing smells, most amazing things ever. And it makes your whole house smell good. And every herb or spice that you put into a homemade chai has magical properties. Every herb or spice has magical properties, period. But that's a really great one to do for any kind of home protection work because it fills the entire home with the aroma. Oh man, homemade chai. Oh, so good. What questions did I miss? Oh, this is not really on topic, but what size Peggy bag?
It's right there, and I couldn't.
The Hedge Witch's Botanical Oracle would fit best in a small bag. There. Yeah. I don't think it's small enough for a mini because a mini is dimensionally meant to hold more.
A mini can hold a Lenormand.
Usually a Lenormand, a tarot, Lenormands.
And smaller.
And
the biggest you
want mini decks and stuff. Lenormand. Yeah. I use Japanese incense sticks that have no wood. I love those. I love those. Those are actually my favorite kind of incense. I just end up with a stockpile of other incense because of subscription boxes. I always have little butt ends left and would like to find a use for them. Oh, yeah, I guess I hadn't really thought about that. Mine usually go right down to the little bits of wood. How to make homemade chai? Oh, let me tell you.
Homemade chai is easy.
It's so easy. So water in a pot, add cinnamon.
But not a lot of water because you have to add
yeah, like let's say a cup or 2 cups of water.
Yeah, just
enough that you're going to make a concentrate,
just
right?
Just enough to really extract your flavor.
Yeah, you want lots of flavor. Cinnamon bark or cinnamon sticks, whatever's easier. Fresh or frozen ginger slices. Peppercorns, black peppercorns. This is our personal recipe.
Cardamom pods.
Cardamom pods, but give them a little smush with like
You don't gotta crush them.
Yeah, like put them in a baggie and like crack them open so the little black seeds come out of the cardamom. But cardamom.
The seeds don't even have to come out. It just has to be cracked.
It just has to be cracked so that the liquid can get into the seed.
Yeah.
Some people like to add anise. I skip anise, but star anise is great in chai for a lot of people.
And it's all to taste. So
you just put it in depending on, like I love cardamom, so extra cardamom usually goes in ours.
You only need like 5 or 6 cardamom.
What did I miss? Ginger, cinnamon, black pepper.
Peppercorns.
I said no black peppercorn. No, I said
peppercorn. The whole peppercorn.
Yeah, the whole peppercorns. Side of the knife, crush it a bit. Yeah, so whole peppercorn, ginger, cinnamon, cardamom, clove. No, not clove. What are the little? No, clove. Yeah. We have added clove.
But you only want like 2 or 3 at the most.
What's the little round one?
That's the peppercorn.
No. There's another little round one.
Basically, that's the base. That's the base. Some people put in chili.
There's a little round spice. What am I thinking of?
No, you're not. That's the peppercorns.
It must be the peppercorn. Yeah, it must be the peppercorn. Anyways, what we do is we boil the. Maybe I was thinking of allspice, but I don't think. Allspice. Yeah, you probably could put that in there.
Coriander,
you could put in coriander.
Okay, there's tons of recipes.
This is just my recipe. That's what I put in. Yeah. So I put all that in a pot. We boil the crap out of it, right?
With about a cup of shredded coconut.
Oh, roasted coconut.
Not sweet coconut, just dry roasted
plain
coconut.
Dried roasted coconut. And we've roasted our own too. And that we like to do the flakes as opposed to the little shreds. Coconut. Oh my God, coconut chai. Okay, anyways. So you boil this until it gets really like strong and aromatic. Your whole house smells amazing. At the very end.
Like the last 2 minutes.
You dunk in your milk. Get it all
No.
Tea bags and then milk, right?
You dump in
your tea bags to steep them for the last couple minutes. Your just plain black tea or Earl Grey or whatever it is you like.
Whatever tea makes sense, but yeah, your tea
plain black tea. And you do that for a couple of minutes, and then you strain it all and you stir in your milk. It's the best. It is the best. And what we do is we have a pot, a ceramic teapot. This is a total. It doesn't matter. We do off the rails here, anyways. But it's a ceramic teapot, and you put it on. We have a ceramic teapot that has a little tea light warmer, kind of like this, that sits underneath it. And we keep it in a hot, constantly kept warm teapot, and we just drink it out of little chai cups.
And if you do it without the coconut, you get a basic chai, and if you do it with the coconut, you basically and your sugar.
Yeah, and then you can sweeten it as well. You can add sugar.
You're really supposed to sweeten it.
Yeah, you're supposed to sweeten it, but you can do that to taste. Yeah.
Sweeten it to taste.
And you can add honey or
But without the coconut, it's a basic chai. With the coconut, it's a sweet coconut chai.
And Moira just gave us an amazing tip and said, try adding brandy and red wine, and you've got glühwein, and skip the milk for that, of course. So if you want glühwein, did I say that right? And then that's how you make that, or like mulled wine, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
The biggest
or cider, right? Isn't that the same spices for cider? Apple cider? Yeah, same kind of thing.
The biggest tricks for making chai, the biggest thing that you need to know for making chai is, the recipes are all there, but what they don't tell you is do not simmer your tea bags in with the spices. Simmer your spices, add the tea at the very end.
Yep.
Strain everything out once the tea is as strong as you want it.
And then add your milk and sugar.
Add your milk and sugars.
And you can use non-dairy milks and all that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Stir it till it's you leave it on the heat so that you can warm everything back up with that cold milk, and then you're done. It's super easy. It's
really easy, and we trial and errored it until we found the blend that we like. And then what we like to do is we like to boil it and boil the herbs until like our liquid. Like, so if we start with 2 cups of liquid, we get it down to like a cup. So we usually reduce it by at least half.
Reduce it by half.
And it's, oh my God, it's amazing. Okay. Sorry. I know that was off topic, but also kind of on topic because we're talking about herbs.
It's so versatile because you can just basically put anything you have that sounds good.
So I haven't gotten very far down my notes, so I'm gonna truck along. Okay. So herbs.
You take notes. Good luck with that.
Oh, thanks, babe.
You're
okay.
welcome.
So I talked about the witch's moon and the witch's roots and all that stuff. I talked about another subscription box, but there's a few other places you can go to buy herbs. Grocery store. So even if you don't have herbs in your kitchen, you can stock up on tons of fantastic herbs at your local grocery store. Also, check and see in your neighborhood. You may have an herbal. I didn't know I had an herbal until I looked it up, and I had an herbal. So I'm going to share with you guys the herbal that is in my area, because they also do sell online. But you may be surprised to find that you have an herbal dispensary in your area. So I'm going to share my screen again. Is it already sharing? It might be. Oh, perfect. Okay, so let me just switch my screen. So this is Gaia Garden, and they're located in the Vancouver, BC area. And I've been here a couple of times. What's really neat is what they sell is bulk herbs. So I wish they had pictures of their actual store here, but I don't know if they do.
It's awesomely amazing if you happen to live near Chinatown.
Yeah, a lot of times, yeah, you can find Chinese herbals and stuff too. What's neat though about
Indian grocery is we got a lot of really good stuff from.
We have a lot of stuff here. Anyways, I'm going to show you Gaia's garden. Gaia's garden. Yeah, Indian grocery is the best for cloves, cinnamon, cardamom, and we're lucky that our grocery stores.
Coriander.
Yeah, our grocery stores have like the regular spice section, and if you go like over the international section, you go from getting a bag like teeny tiny bag of cinnamon to like a giant bag of cinnamon for way less money. It's amazing, and that's at our regular grocery store.
Yeah.
But anyways, what's neat about an herbal dispensary is a lot of times what they have is all these huge bulk jars of all the herbs you could possibly want, both food grade and like for other types of preparations, because they're meant for people who are making herbal medicines and other herbal preparations. So you can get jasmine buds and rose petals and mugwort and all the things you want to have for your magical work, and it's usually incredibly affordable. And if you can see through this list, I mean, there's everything here from bee pollen to calendula to blue cohosh and false unicorn. We need to know what this is. It doesn't tell me. Great. Anyways, I'll have to look that up later. If anybody knows what false unicorn is, I'm all ears.
There's a button to click. You can click it.
I did click it and it didn't tell me anything. But there's tea in here. There's rooibosses, and tea is a whole other way you can work with magical herbs. But so check your local like yellow pages online or look in Google to see what's nearby you. You might be surprised. There may be a herbal medicine dispensary in your area that has all of these loose herbs. You can also sometimes find shops in your area that actually sell all the ingredients for herbal teas, which is essentially the same thing. It's just all going to be ingestible herbs as opposed to an herbal dispensary that will have both ingestible and non-ingestible types of herbs. But check and see, because there may be an herbal thing in your area and you can go and find bulk herbs and get just a little bit for your magical. Fill one of these bottles for what, 25 cents sometimes, or 20 cents. It can be shockingly affordable to build up an entire apothecary with lots of magical herbs to play with for very little money. And depending on your magical practice, especially if you're not making things, to imbibe or to ingest in some way, then you can just get like little amounts and play.
Well, and watch your neighborhood, because
I'm not there yet. Peggy's stealing my thunder. You can help. That's what I was going to say.
Helping Whipper wine.
You can also grow your own herbs, and you can, of course, grab things locally. Some of the things I use in my magical practice are fresh daisies that I have picked, dandelions that I have picked from just like random areas around my apartment. I have found little snips of, very respectfully collected, little snips of cedar trees that are in our area. Dandelion wishes are really great to leave on your altar and then make a wish with. There's so many different things that you can find and access. So the question I had was, is Gaia Garden like Mountain Rose herbs? So I didn't write down Mountain Rose herbs here, but I think I know who you're talking about. So let's take a quick look. I think they are the same. I think, is Mountain Rose herbs more based as like a website? Because Gaia Garden is too, but let's take a look together. So let me pull up the screen. So this is Mountain Rose herbs. So who we are, herbal education. Let's go shopping. Let's put in mugwort. So when I'm looking for someplace to buy herbs online, the first thing I look is to see if they carry things like mugwort, jasmine buds, rose petals, because those things are not necessarily just for, well, especially mugwort is not necessarily just for tea. So they do have mugwort. Perfect. Mugwort sticks, wise woman tea, dream tea, powerful skin compound. So this looks great. Mountain Rose herbs. So just to get a feel for things, let's take a look. So you pay $6.50 for 4 ounces of mugwort. And I'm pretty sure that this bag, let me go back over here so you can see. I'm pretty sure that this bag of herb is probably 1 to 2 ounces at most. Herbs are light. So that's a really killer price. So if you want to get...
I can put it on the scale and confirm the weight for you.
Yeah, go confirm the weight for me.
Please.
Please. Well, you offered.
I offered, but doesn't mean you get to be rude.
I mean, you married me. You stuck with me now. Gotta put up with everything. I'm just kidding.
Oh, hell no.
No, that's not how it goes.
Oh,
is
no.
She's gonna weigh it for us. But yeah, 4 ounces of herbs is quite a lot. So you can just start with a few from a reputable online supplier. Getting organic is a really nice thing to do.
14 grams.
We'll put it on ounces, silly. 14 grams. That includes the bag, but yeah.
This is 14. Okay, wait.
Is it 14 ounces? That can't be right.
No, it's not 14 ounces. It's just not switching over.
Okay, Peggy's trying to figure it out.
It's not switching over for some reason. So it's
14 grams, whatever that is in ounces, because metric system. Erica says that she has ordered from Mountain Rose Herbs and loves the quality. Susan of Light and Shadow, I grew a big bush of basil and was about to harvest it when I saw my dogs pee on it. Watch animal contamination in the herb garden. It's true. It's true. You can pick from higher up, or you have like your own little pots that you keep up on a balcony or something like that.
Be aware of what your pets can reach.
There's another one here that I looked up that looked really good, and it was called sunrisebotanicals.com. So let's take a quick look at that. So if you're trying to build, whoa, maybe that's not right because that didn't go anywhere. Sunrise Botanic.
Oh, you screwed it up.
Oh, Botanics. Not botanical. That's right.
Yeah, 14 grams is 4 ounces. Is 0.4 ounces.
0.4 ounces. So this bag is about a half an ounce then. And you get 4 ounces for $6.50 plus shipping. So yeah, that's Shayla. She's making a nest for herself. So this is Sunrise Botanics, which I found with a quick online search. They had lots of stuff too. Now this one is Canada, US, and worldwide. And same thing, herbs and spices, everything from henna supplies to random herbs and spices. This looks like it. Oh, you got by letter. So you can get all kinds of things here. Whole bay leaves, which again, you can get that at the grocery store. Check too, because if there's an herb you think you want to work with, check and see if it's something you can get at a local or international grocery store in your area. I said that weird, but lots of things at Sunrise Botanics also. So lots of things you can do there. Thank you for looking that up, by the way, Rebecca. I really appreciate it. Set to grams. We're metric system here. Actually, the reason we have our kitchen scale at all like that is because we have a diabetic dog and we measure his food in grams every day so that he can get a very precise serving to match with his insulin because he is insulin dependent and we need to do that. Can anyone suggest a good online shop for Blue Lotus tea? Oh, that sounds delicious, whatever it is. Let me know. So that's what I have to say about herbs. Again, something else you can do is you can buy yourself a bouquet of flowers and dry them. You can often get bouquets of lavender, depending on where you live. It might be lavender in this area, actually in the summertime, grows like a weed in some areas. So you're able to just go and pick it. If we head to certain areas, we can also find naturally wild growing sage. We can also sometimes find other types of herbs that I'm really confident. Be very careful when you're harvesting your own stuff to make sure it is what you think it is, especially if you plan to eat it. That's something that I'm very cautious about. But if you buy yourself a bouquet of flowers or a bouquet of daisies, you can dry the petals and use those in magical workings. If you receive a gift of flowers and they are drying out, harvest the petals and put them in a jar and just make note of what they were or who gave them to you or what they represent to you, because you can use those things in magic. Just because maybe in a book, daisies say they mean, I don't know what they say they mean. Let's say daisy says it means financial abundance. I pick daisies and they represent joy to me. So I have a big jar of daisy petals and I use them in recipes where I want to bring in joy. Oh my God. Emily says, this year I discovered the weeds in my yard are mugwort. That's amazing. I would like your weeds, please, because I love mugwort. And if I had unlimited access to mugwort, I would bathe in mugwort. That was funny. Yeah, I would bathe in mugwort like 2 to 3 times a week.
I had a yard full of lemon
hi, Dana. So that's it. That's what I have to say about herbs. Dandelions, daisies, thistles are often, you can find those in the ground, at least here in the Pacific Northwest. You can find clover really easily here. You can find really easily to identify plants. Blackberry, trees are a great source for things. So cedar, pine, all these kinds of things. There's so many places you can go for great magical ingredients. We once found a abandoned bird's nest that had fallen to the ground and had been abandoned. And I used that dried bird's nest for money and manifestation magic for well over a year. There's all kinds of things you can do. It's just about recognizing what's around you, right? So please remember, you do not need to buy or spend tons of money to build up. And it's probably, I would say, better to build up very slowly, and because you'll get to know the ingredients as you build up versus inundating yourself with 30 ingredients right out of the gate and then being overwhelmed and not knowing what to do with them. So that's what I have to say about herbs. That was a lot. That was a lot. I want to talk about crystals. So let's go over crystals briefly. So a few of the places that I have found inexpensive crystals to use in magical workings. If you're in the US, I think it's still available. Michael's sells a like kit. Let's see if I can find it online of like all these little jars of crystal chips. And I'm sure a bunch of you have seen them. I cannot for the life of me find these kits in Canada. I don't know why. It makes me upset because I would love one of these because it's so convenient. Here's what it looks like. Let me pull this up. Oh, come on. Open image. Let me just share what this looks like because you can keep an eye out for it in your local Michael's. Doop, doop, doop. I want to remove that, and then I want to stop that, do this here. Okay. Did it work? Let's find out. Yeah, it worked. I just need to make it bigger. So it looks like this. So this has aventurine, amethyst, it looks like clear quartz, rose quartz, peridot, red agate, citrine, garnet, bamboo coral, not sure about that one, magnesite, onyx, tigerite. Now this is not going to be your most ethically sourced kind of stuff, you guys. But if you just want to start with something that you can work into your magic, this is great to have a little selection. Now I couldn't find. Oh, thank you, Dawn. Yeah, Dawn recently had a terrible experience with a crystal shop on Etsy. So if you're looking for just an inexpensive, budget-friendly kind of way to work with crystals, yeah, the cork tops are junk, so you may need to find a better way to stop the jars. Thank you, Jen. These are super handy. Now, you guys will see me using crystal chips in my workings, and the funny thing is, I actually got a little kit. I think Peggy was with me. I think we were at somewhere like a Walmart or something, and we found a kit, and it was like to make your own like perfume oils. It came with like 3 totally not essential fragrance oils. It came with some roller bottles, and it came with like 3 of these little plastic jars that each had chips. So it came with jade, amethyst, and rose quartz. And these little jars each are full of these little chips. And I've used those chips a ton in my magical workings, and I used the roller balls. So the kit cost like $12-15, but I used all of the glass roller balls, filled them with my magical oils, and I used all of the crystal chips. I still use all the crystal chips. And let's see, Rebecca, for the love of God, do not make direct method crystal waters without thorough research. A lot of crystals are toxic. Hello, malachite. Or toxic to put in water that you will be ingesting or bathing in. This is so important. We think they're just rocks, but a lot of rocks have things like lead in them and things that are like worse in them. And they are literally poisonous in water to ingest. Please do not ingest crystal waters without doing your research. And nowadays there are actually special bottles that have a completely solid glass separator between the water and the crystal holder. So you can still infuse the energy of crystals into your water without any contact between the water and the crystal. Really, really important stuff, you guys, to do your research. We think they're just rocks and that they're just fine and they're water safe. Peggy and I, way before I knew about any of this, Peggy and I had a beautiful selenite tower that was spiral, and we put it in our fish tank. The fish are fine, and we couldn't figure out where this thing went. I was looking for it the one day. I was like, where's the selenite tower? And we were looking, and she's like, I think we put it in the fish tank. And this thing was like this big.
No, it wasn't that big.
Well, it was big. I'm exaggerating.
It was gone.
But it was big. But when we found it, it was like this big.
The selenite dissolves
because it dissolves in water. Yeah. It dissolved. Yeah. So the fish tank did great. The fish did great.
The fish actually loved it.
Yeah, I don't think it hurt the fish at all.
No.
But
it made the water really hard. We got lucky that it wasn't toxic because it would have killed the fish and made the tank.
But there are certain crystals that are fine in water. Just make sure you do your research for sure.
Yeah, well, we knew it was fine in water. We didn't know that it would dissolve.
Yep.
I think we had done not enough research.
That's true. So another place you can get crystals, again, subscription boxes. There's a really great little subscription box that's a lot of fun. If you haven't checked it out yet and you're interested in sort of building up a little collection of crystals, it's called Enchanted Crystal. And I was subscribed to it for a little bit, I think a few months, like 4 to 6 months. I'm going to pull up the subscription box now so I can show it to you guys. So here we go here. So Enchanted Crystal is a great little subscription box, and there's 2 different ways you can subscribe. So you can subscribe to their like sort of big box, which is their main subscription box here. it's called Crystal Variety, and you get 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, like it says 4 to 6 crystals or mineral specimens. As a note, most people's first couple of boxes are kind of the same. Like you'll get some more common things, like some fluorite usually. There's a few things they tend to put in the first couple boxes, probably to make sure that you get some of the basic stuff. Amethyst, fluorite. I'm trying to remember what else came in the first couple boxes. I'm sorry, Jen. I was very happy with it. They also send you a cute little, it's printed on, I think, linen crystal grid if you get the Crystal Variety box, which is currently $42 monthly. You can also subscribe to their Crystal of the Month box, where you get just one crystal each month, one primary crystal each month, and you can see some examples here on the video as it scrolls through what you might get. So as an example, when I was subscribed on one of my boxes, I think it was one of the variety boxes, I got this gorgeous little guy, which is a really beautiful quartz crystal cluster. I almost said klutzer. Did you hear that? Peggy did. She looked at me. And it's got beautiful points like all over it. This is one of my favorite pieces. And this came through the Enchanted Crystal subscription box. I had a lot of fun getting that box. I tried both the big box and the Crystal of the Month, and I really enjoyed both. But keep in mind, for me, when I get a box from the US, I have exchange rate to deal with. So I add 35%. And then extra shipping typically. So it does add up. And for me, I got it for a while until I got quite a little collection, and then I stopped getting it. And I think it's good to remind yourself that you can do that with subscription boxes, right? You can get it for a bit, build up a little selection of things, and then cancel it or skip every other box or whatever. What are the bonus mini crystals? So often you would get a little baggie and it would have like lots of little crystal points. This is also some other things that I've gotten to use in spell work. I would get like little different quartz, and they were always labeled, right? So like you might get a little shadow, what is it called? Phantom quartzes, or like little different kinds of Brazilian quartz or quartz from this area or that area. That was a really fun and I think very well researched box. And the neat thing about the Crystal of the Month is you would also get, in the Crystal of the Month, you also get a little write-up called, so it says educational information included. You don't actually get that in the Crystal Variety box. So you'd get one primary crystal, but you'd also get like a piece of paper that has a bunch of information about that crystal. So someone bought me a rose quartz from Amazon as a gift. How do I know if it's a genuine crystal? I'm not the person to ask y'all. I actually got suckered in with a fake malachite actually when I went to a vendor market, and it was not good. FYI, if your malachite can melt, it's not real. Just
if
you know.
If it doesn't feel cold when you touch it.
It should feel cold to the touch, and it should feel heavy. Beyond that, if it's a dyed pink clear quartz, you can usually see like splotchiness of color. Those are the kinds of things I look out for, because there's a lot of dyed clear quartz out in the like kind of inauthentic market, I guess you could say. Those are the only things I kind of know for sure. Certain stones feel actually heavier than they should for their size. Like malachite is a very heavy stone. So the same size piece of malachite and like a river stone, the malachite's going to feel heavier.
Yeah, the good news about rose quartz is that it's a relatively inexpensive stone, and it would cost more to fake one than to just... Yeah,
Peggy is absolutely right. Rose quartz is one of those stones that's very likely to be genuine because it's affordable. It's one of those that it's cheap. It's not necessarily worth faking, she was saying, and this is very true. So rose quartz you can usually get very inexpensively. You can usually find low-grade amethyst really inexpensively. But yeah, so subscription boxes, again, great way to build up a crystal collection. The other thing, shop your local metaphysical shops. When we're not under restrictions, being able to browse a local metaphysical shop, a lot of metaphysical shops, as like a matter of, unless they've dramatically changed super recently, it's super common for almost every metaphysical shop to at least, no matter how woo they are, to have at least one bin full of tumbles and like little baggies that you can fill for a flat price. This is super common. So you'll find a lot of common stones. You might find a lot of agates and things like that, but you'll find some gems in there, like some rose quartz or some clear quartz or smoky quartz. So yeah, that was really, really fun. Peggy is a Sagittarius, Rebecca, so she is a fire sign. But we're both Libra rising, which is really cool, actually. I got a fake amethyst given to me. It does happy despite it being pointless. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's so nice to be able to pick the stones in person. I agree. So local metaphysical stores often will have displays and they'll have stones labeled. And often metaphysical stores, if you haven't done it for you, for you. What am I saying? If you haven't
You're
done
saying
it
something-
before,
You're saying smart people stuff
yeah.
and failing.
Thanks, babe. Great for my confidence.
Feeling the love.
At some metaphysical shops, most metaphysical shops, if they sell stones, they'll often have little pieces of paper that tell you what the magical properties are of each stone. So you can browse, pick out the stone, grab the little paper that goes with it, and actually learn about your stones as you go, which is how I prefer to buy stones in person. And beyond that, as far as buying crystals online, personally, I would rather buy from somebody I know or who I've heard through word of mouth has a good reputation. So I want to give a little shout out to Dustin, Modern Metaphysicae, because he knows his crystals pretty darn well. He knows where to get ethically sourced crystals. He knows where to get good quality crystals, and he prices them affordably. I know he's planning, I don't know if he's still in the chat. I know he's planning to launch them on his website. So let's just, let's put him on the spot. Let's take a little peek at his website and see if he's gotten off his butt and done it yet. I know the poor guy's been so busy, but let's check anyway. Okay, let's check. Modern Metaphysicae.
Okay, everybody, send Dustin a message now.
First, let's take a look at his gorgeous boutique because we can. So this is what I mean. Here is an example of beautifully displayed crystals that you can select for all of $1 each because he has very fair pricing. And he's got white howlite, tiger's eye here, amethyst, quartz. We just need him to offer them online. But I'm pretty sure if you contact him and he has access to something, he will still hook you up, even if it's not on his site yet. But can we just admire the beautiful aesthetics of his shop right now? Who wants to go here in person? I do. Who remembers that we were planning a Denver meetup right before COVID hit? I do. Who's bitter about not being able to go to a Denver meetup for the tarot community this last September?
Okay,
I am.
You want to go to Dustin's shop and buy things. You want to go
that
shopping.
too. That too.
You
It's beautiful, right? Yeah, it's freaking gorgeous. Hello. Okay, see, Dustin says, I can ship anything you see on my Insta. Hello. And can we talk about his scullies right now? He sent me a rose quartz skull. It is so dang cute. I love it so much. And it's like the nicest skull I've ever seen. And I'm not saying that just because Dustin's my friend. I would tell y'all if it looked like crap, I swear. But it's really nice. And I love it so much. So Dustin is somebody that I trust, which means that if I want a good quality crystal, I'm going to go to somebody like him before I would like go to some random seller online. As Dawn mentions, she has learned her lesson from going to a seller on Etsy. You really do got to be careful with online crystal sellers because it's really hard to know if what you're getting is going to be good. Definitely recommend reading reviews.
I will say that Etsy's a good way to do it because they have an amazingly effective case system to get your money back.
That's very, very true. Yeah, Etsy's got a great system for protecting the buyer. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very good at protecting the buyer, and they get rid of. If they don't know there's a problem, they don't get rid of the shop. But they've shut down shops. They have shut down shops that have done like huge volumes of business, and they'll still shut them down.
That's true.
As soon as if they find out that they're scamming.
Oh, great! Christian says Bliss Crystals is a great Etsy shop. Yeah. Things are coming very soon. Make sure you're on my newsletter. Yes, get on Dustin's newsletter. He continues to grow and add more and more cool stuff to his site. So make sure you're watching his Instagram also because he posts drooly worthy. You know what I mean? Gorgeous pictures of gorgeous things. So check it out. But if you know of if you know of other shops, or if you read the reviews, this is a big one. Go on Etsy. If you find a shop that looks good, read through the reviews, but try to read for reviews that sound like people actually know crystals. If people are like, oh, pretty rock, that might not be very informative. But if you read, people are saying, I got a beautiful piece of genuine hematite from this place and I love it. It's good quality, etc. That tells you a lot about the shop. So maybe look into those kinds of things before you purchase from an online seller. Otherwise, try to find somebody you trust or through word of mouth, right?
Bruno needs things.
That's nice.
Needy puppy needs things.
Do crystals from the quartz family also have oh, okay, that's a different conversation. Ooh, Dawn got goodies today. Ooh, that's exciting. Spirit Nectar is a wonderful Canadian crystal Etsy shop I have bought from her, and she has an Instagram. Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you do.
So Wendy says, Lisa, what's your recommendation about size of crystals? I've bought crystals online and they arrived very, very small ones, just as powerful as bigger ones. Yes, absolutely, no question. That being said, you might have certain sizes you really enjoy working with. For example, I really love palm stones for meditation or for doing any kind of handling because I like the size, the weight, the way they feel in my hand, and they're really smooth. You might like tumbles for being able to put in a pouch or carry in your pocket. Or you might want tiny little chips like I love for putting into oils and spells and sachets. It's totally up to you. But as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of like the energy of a single pine needle to me is the same energy as a branch of pine or standing at a pine tree. It may be felt differently, but it's essentially all bits of the same kind of energy. So it just depends on how you want to engage with it. That's what I would say about it. But I don't think you're missing anything. I never got back to the card question. So we'll talk about it for both herbs and crystals. And whoever asked it, I apologize. I am such a squirrel. Using cards instead of herbs or instead of crystals is a wonderful way to bring in the intention of that energy into your working. Now, this is great if you either don't have a lot of money and want a big library of energies to work with, or you want, maybe you're allergic to a lot of herbs and you want to work with a lot of herbs energies without pulling in the actual plant. How it works for you will depend on you, right? But I use cards a lot of time to remind me of a property. So when I use tarot in magic, for example, I'll pull the strength card in because I want the energy of fortitude or the energy of facing and working with my shadow. Or I want something that strength makes me think of to be a focal point for my magic. And having that card on the table reminds me of that focal point. Similarly, if I put a card that has a beautiful image of a rose quartz or a printout from my printer of a rose quartz, and that's going to remind me of my intention for softness and surrender and flow and love, then it's going to be effective because it's helping me to focus on that intention. I personally don't necessarily believe I get energy from the card like I would from the actual stone or the plant, but that doesn't mean it's not an effective way for me to work with that intention. Does that make sense? So if you want to work with an herbal deck or a deck of crystals in order to pull in certain intentions, I think that's a very powerful way to add more boost to your magical workings. And again, you guys can see me do this in videos where I will pull in cards or I'll pull in something symbolic to help me hold focus. If you've ever booked a client reading with me, then you know that I usually pull specific crystals based on that client's request and reading. And I also will pull sigil cards that hold a specific intention as well. And those things all help me focus and all help me connect. It's just, how does it work, right? It works how it works for you. Christian Benjamin says, I have 78 mainly tumbled gemstones and crystals in a bag that I use for crystal readings. Yeah, that's something else you can do. You can cast crystals. There's lots of fun things you can do. I love the stone deck. Yeah, the stone deck is a great one to use if you want to hold that crystal's energy because it's beautiful, it's affordable, and the images of the crystal look very natural and very clear, which I love. And this is another good point. So Emmy says, my local ocean area has lots of milky quartz. You might be surprised what crystals you can source from your local area. My friend Erica has a giant piece of clear quartz that she got from her property in Colorado, I think it was. Sometimes you can find milky quartz or agates at your local beach. River stones.
That big piece of rose quartz?
Yeah.
We found at a roadside stop.
Yeah, exactly. Were you thinking of amethyst, honey?
No. We found that in a shop. We found we stopped.
Oh,
and it was laying on the side. It was
that's right.
Laying
on the side of the road.
On the side of the road.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. They don't have to be gemstones to have power. If you find a pretty stone on the beach and it makes you think something or feel something, shells are great. There's so many ways you can bring in natural energies. It doesn't have to be a very specific crystal to be meaningful or to have potency in your magic. I have little pieces of, oh, what's it called? I forget every time. It looks like little Aztec temples. It's a metal technically. And it's kind of rainbowy. It's like an element or a metal. And it's like little Aztec crystals with lots of little steps. It almost looks titanium-y. Bismuth. Thank you, Christian. I was like literally looking at Christian's name in the chat like, I know you know. Bismuth, yes. So my son, actually, he bought raw bismuth blocks, I guess, and went to a buddy's house. Okay, I'm not recommending anybody do this. Please be smart and look things up. I don't know what he did. He's a full-grown man. He can do what he wants. But he basically did some kind of stovetop experiment and made me not just me, made some bismuth, which I then proceeded to steal most of because it's beautiful and it's really cool. But I would have never known that bismuth was something you could get from boiling or doing whatever he did. I don't know. But it's really cool. Rebecca says, I found a rock that's like a common stone, but clearly has quartz growing just on the inside in the middle and a red line around it. It looks like an eye. Yeah, exactly. And Kay says, something extra special about finding your own treasures from nature, gifts from Gaia. Yes, yes. And I think we don't always give this enough weight or credit, but it's so true. It's so true. So yeah, so I mentioned reputable sellers, finding DIY kits that sometimes have crystal chips in them. Gem shows. So you may be surprised. You might hear people talking about gem shows depending on where you live. And again, this is all assuming that we are past all of this nonsense happening in the world right now. But at some point when we can actually go out in the world again, gem and crystal shows are a really wonderful way to get affordable, beautiful crystals. And if you may want to look it up, there may be one that happens in your area or near you enough to be worth the trip. But gem and mineral shows are absolutely heaven to go to. You will learn a lot, you will see a lot, and you don't necessarily have to purchase a lot, but you will often find fan-freaking-tastic deals because rock and gem shows are often geared towards either rock and mineral hounds, like people who collect and then sell their things, or geared towards jewelry makers who are looking for things, other crafters that are looking for things, and you can find incredible deals. Another place to look is at, if you don't care if they have beads in them, or holes in them, is to look in the jewelry section of any bead shop or any Michaels or any Joanne, etc., or whatever, because you will find strung gemstone beads pretty easily, and those are usually small round stones. They just have holes in them. Like, you can usually find great stones that way, or you can find chips that are strung on strings in bead shops. Rebecca says thrift stores. If you know what you're looking for, especially if you get better at identifying things, then even if you go into a thrift shop, you might spot really cool pieces of stone. So yeah, there's a lot of ways you can acquire stones and beads and chips and chunks. And even if you don't have a big gem show near you, take a look online anyways, because you may find that there is a small rock and mineral club in your area that does smaller local shows. So for example, we have a big gem show that happens in this area, and there's also a really big one that happens south of us in Tacoma, Washington, Seattle area. Both of those are really, really big, but there's like local rock and gem like kind of gatherings that happen, and I found beautiful slices of agate and heartstone and blue lace agate and fluorite for like $1 each at one of those little local shops or local shows. So yeah, there's so many opportunities to do stuff like that. You just may have to look a little. It may not be right at the top of, like, it might not be right at the front of your mind, but if you do a little hunting, because there's geological clubs and rock clubs all over the place. So you might be really shocked what's in your area, and it's definitely worth looking. Okay, oils. First stop, essential oils, because you can craft with a few essential oils, you can craft lots of magical blends. And I would always encourage you, again, do your homework. Make sure you know how oils are going to react to different things. Make sure you don't like just put them on your skin or ingest them without knowing what you're doing, that sort of thing. But I love adding a couple drops of essential oil to a large amount of carrier oil to make magical oil blends. And some great all-arounders. Lavender is fabulous. Ylang ylang is wonderful. Bergamot. You can usually find essential oils in the natural health food store in your area or at any aromatherapy store, that sort of thing. But you can basically make magical oil blends by using a little bit of carrier oil, a drop or two of essential oil to get the scent you want or the plant energy that you want. Please remember that essential oils are medicine, okay? The reason I say that is because we think of essential oils sometimes as innocuous, as harmless, as maybe even like woo stuff, but the medicine that we develop for pharmaceuticals also comes from plants, right? It's just manufactured differently. And I have a horror story about using tea tree oil on my dog, and it wasn't diluted enough, and it turned out that tea tree oil, when it's not diluted enough, is toxic to dogs. And she had a very scary trip to the emergency room. It was terrifying. And I should have known better. And this was not that long ago, you guys. So it's easy to think of essential oils as just like a thing that we use and it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. And please always, always look up what you're using, how you're using it. Don't diffuse essential oils without looking up whether they are safe for your pets and for you. It's a thing. And I think it's really easy, like I said, to take them for granted. But yeah, please do not ingest anything or put anything on your skin or in your environment or in your air without doing your homework. It sounds maybe overly cautious. It's not. It's not. I actually found out that a lot of diffused essential oils are really difficult for pets. Even like you think, oh, no big deal, I'll throw some lavender and some peppermint oil in my essential oil diffuser, but it can actually be really irritating to dogs, to cats, for sure for birds. I mean, there's just, you have to be really careful. But anyways, with all of the disclaimery things aside, a couple essential oils are wonderful for working into magical oil blends. And I usually dilute the crap out of anything I use because almost everything, if it is diluted enough, is going to be okay to work with. Again, do your homework. Make sure it's very, very diluted. Don't use anything fully concentrated, all this kinds of stuff. Really important. But essential oils are a great thing to work with. I keep fractionated coconut oil or liquid at room temperature coconut oil. It just might be called liquid coconut oil. You can find it at the grocery store nowadays more and more easily or online. It's a great base oil. It's naturally an antioxidant. It is naturally associated with the element of water, which is wonderful if you want to pull the element of water into your magic. It's fairly skin friendly and it is very long lasting. So it has a great shelf life. So that's what I like to use for my base for essential oils or not essential oils, for magical oils that I make. What else did I note here? You can also use other carrier oils, some of which I found olive oil I used to use as a carrier, but I found that it went rancid really quickly. You can add vitamin E to help, but I didn't like using olive oil. I also didn't like the color because I'm picky. And also olive oil has a scent, whereas fractionated coconut oil really doesn't have a scent. It doesn't smell like coconut. You'd think it would, but it doesn't. Virgin coconut oil, which is solid at room temperature, does have a scent, but fractionated doesn't. And again, vitamin E is a antioxidant. So if you are making an oil with no water or wet ingredients going into it, then vitamin E helps to preserve. But again, coconut oil is a natural antioxidant. I believe lavender oil is a natural antioxidant. So if you've got lavender in, that helps too. There's more research you can do, but I love making magical oils. It's one of my favorite things to do. So I do it a lot, as you've seen. And I just love layering crystal, plant, oil, energies in. I love it, love it, love it, love it. But you can find essential oils usually in your grocery store, natural health food store. Just, be aware that if it's something you're planning to use for anything other than scent, that you do homework on where it's coming from, whether it's organic or not, whether it's coming from a good source, all that kind of stuff. Let's see. Oh, candles. Okay, this is we're almost to the end. Candles. So getting candles. Candles are easy. Tea lights. You can get them anywhere. You can dress them. You can sprinkle herbs on them. Be not too generous because they will catch fire. You can dress them with oil. Same thing applies. Oil catches fire. So be aware, use things lightly so you don't have a fire hazard. Use fireproof dishes, all that stuff.
Don't leave them unattended.
Never.
For any reason if you're going to do that to them.
Never leave candles unattended, period, no matter what you do to them.
Especially if you put oils or herbs on them.
Yes. But tea lights are great.
Isn't that why you cut your candles in half before you do that now with your...
I don't cut my candles in half.
You get the half candles.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. You made candles.
I'm going to talk about that, yeah.
Fine.
You can get chime candles that are little ones. You can usually get them at metaphysical shops like Dustin's, where he sells them in all these different colors. They're usually really inexpensive. You can usually get little chime candle holders. You can also order slightly larger ones that are thicker on Amazon, so bigger ones. I really love, okay, here's the thing about candles for me. For me with candle magic, I prefer that once I light a candle for a spell, that candle finishes to finish the spell. So if my candle is too big, I'm stuck with that spell for a long, long time. And sometimes that's not practical. So birthday candles, like I picked up these recently, not that recently, but I have these in my kit. These are rainbow birthday candles. They're a little taller than a standard birthday candle, but birthday candles are fantastic for spell work because they're little, they burn quickly. Usually I will just melt the bottom of one of these and stick it onto a plate so that if it tipped all the way over, it's still on the plate. So it's a bigger plate than this by far. Sometimes you can also melt the bottom of these and stick them in a little chime candle holder. Lisa's such a size queen. You're such a butt, Dustin. Oh my God. Oh, by the way, these are what the chime candles look like. These are the kinds.
He's not wrong.
These are the kinds you find in metaphysical stores, right? They're like, I'm ignoring Peggy because she's being a brat.
Dustin started it.
Dustin started it. But yeah, these are what these look like. I usually have some of these kicking around all the time in various colors. I have some like black ones. I have some pink ones.
It's all about the variety.
Anyway, I also found some beeswax birthday candles, which made me really happy. They're teeny tiny and they burn really quick. But things like this are great to have on hand for candle magic spells. As for bigger candles, which I use all the time, not so much for spell work, but for holding intention in space, like for my client readings or for my videos or whatever, I like using beeswax candles. I was introduced to these by the Witch's Moon and the Witch's Roots boxes because they always include one of these bigger ones in their Witch's Moon boxes or candles about this size in their Witch's Roots. But I found a local candle making shop where I can buy full sheets of beeswax, and get this, a full sheet of beeswax cut in half and then cut in half again makes 4 candles this size. And I just asked the candle making people what size wick I needed. And it's just cotton wick. And you just cut the beeswax sheet, lay your wick across it, roll it up. And I made a ton of these. And so now I have a nice little supply.
Becky has home rollies.
I have home rollies, Peggy says. Is that like a reference to something else?
A cigarette reference.
To cigarettes reference? Oh, okay.
It's a reference to rolling your own cigarettes.
Oh, I see. Anyway, so I have a bunch of these. They smell amazing. They are in a variety of colors. Bye, Jujubee. These are great. And they're, if you can find, you can actually find sets that have beeswax sheets online. Just do some poking around and you can find some places where you can buy the beeswax and the wick, and you can totally make your own candles super easy. You're just rolling them up. It's not dipping. It's not pouring into jars. It's not messy. The messiest thing, it's a little sticky because beeswax has a little bit of stickiness to it. But I just put parchment paper out and then I just rolled them up. I made like 30 candles in like a couple hours. It was really, really easy. So candles, super easy. Birthday candles, I think I covered everything. Yeah. And lastly, great magical boosters, as I mentioned.
Oh, no.
Pull out your tarot decks. Pull out your oracle decks. Look for intentions that you can use in those things. And as for tools, you can find things like mortar and pestles or things that can stand in for cauldrons or fireproof bowls in kitchen shops, sometimes in thrift shops, in dollar stores. Like, again, you don't need anything but intention to do magic. So everything else is icing. And with that in mind, think about where you can source things so that you feel like you can play and you're not limited. But remember, you don't need to have any of that to start doing magic, right? You can start where you are. You can use what you have. And it's tempting to buy all the things, but years and years and years of witching later, and my favorite things to use are usually the things that I began with. My very first cauldron, still using it. My very first mortar and pestle, still using it. You know, my favorite kinds of inserts or whatever. Exactly. Emmy says, and tools start to come to you. Yes. Oh, Peggy's going to sneeze. You gonna stop at 9? That's so unsatisfying.
Yeah, I was upsetting the dog.
Did you hear Bruno howling? We taught him to howl when Peggy sneezes. Yeah, that's what we do. That's what we do around here. This is what we do for fun. We count Peggy sneezes, the dog howls, he gets a treat. This is what we do. Recycle candle jars for my herbs. Yes, 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 yes. Kay says, wow, Peggy. Kay said, wow, Peggy.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we've also recently learned that Bruno loves cucumbers and zucchinis, and he's a diabetic. So this is great news. So we've been giving him slices of zucchini and cucumber and or other random vegetable pieces that are safe for dogs from the fridge for treats, so that his insulin and his blood sugar doesn't get screwed up, but so that he still gets treats. Thank you, Christian. I love making those videos. Okay. So, thanks, Flora and Fauna. So I think that about wraps it up. Before we go, quick little like fun sneak peek for those of you that have hung around this long. I just realized I never silenced my phone, and yet I didn't get a bazillion notifications, which is amazing. Apparently nobody loves me. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, everybody's watching my video. Good point. So quick little sneak peek. Oh, wait, Dana says, you know, in Japan, if you sneeze 3 times, someone is talking about you. So what does that mean for Peggy?
I'm fucking popular.
What she said. And so humble.
No.
I know, Dom's like, it's because we're all here. So who wants a quick little sneak peek of something that came in the mail today? And I'm going to be filming about soon. Do you guys want a quick sneak peek? So if anybody happens to still be hanging around at 10 p.m. on the East Coast, you can see this. I'm gonna open this up. If you have to go now, though, we're done with all the like fancy witchy talk now. Good night. I see some yeses. I'm excited. Oh, it's packaged so pretty. Okay, so I love doing this. I may not be able to show much because it's packaged really pretty. Oh, I think I can get away with it. I think I can. I think I can. Look at how cute these are. Aren't they adorable? Okay, let's do a little sneak peek. I will film proper videos about both of these when I have the time, but I figured it'd be fun to bring you guys along for a little sneak peek. These just arrived today. Oh, Dana, my mom chill time just started. I'm going nowhere. Okay. Okay, so this is fun because I feel like I'm unwrapping presents, which is very fun and exciting. I love it when you get something from a small creator because they often do things like this where things come all wrapped up cute and like, I just love it. Okay, so we're going to open the first one and the second one. And I may have to get links for you guys so you guys can check this stuff out for yourself too. I have to tear. Okay, I want to know who here is a careful opener of packages and who here likes to rip. I'm a ripper normally. It sounds really bad when I say it like that.
Yes, it does.
I'm a ripper? What does that even say about me? Probably bad things. Probably says bad things about me. Oh, I do have to use scissors though. It's 10 o'clock in Ontario. There is still a fly that is like rip and tear, rip and tear. Oh, the rip and tears are definitely the majority in here so far. Does anybody like open them delicately and then keep the paper? Okay, I am living for this packaging. We're going to talk about it. I rip alone or careful in front of the giver. Man, I will tell you though, as a giver, I want to see people rip. Rip the stuff. I don't care how prettily I have wrapped it for you, just destroy it. That is the most satisfying thing. But then I'm a ripper, so like maybe I'm biased. Does anybody not like to see their packages ripped open with enthusiasm? Like how fun is that? Oh, good point. Jen says, now that I started making junk journals, I carefully open paper so I can use it later. Dawn Michelle's a ripper. I know you're a ripper, Dawn, because you tear your paper on purpose for your junk journals. There you go. Okay, so here's what we have here. We have the Healing Not Broken 42 card deck by Brittany Zahurik and her very recently published follow-up deck, which is called Continue to Grow. These, I'm so excited about these. So I reached out to Brittany. I saw these. Where did I see these? I want to credit the person who I saw these at first because she even did an interview with the creator. Let me grab it. I'm going to grab it. I should be able to grab it. Hold on. I want to say Arcane Panda. I bet that's who it is. Arcane Panda, Healing Not Broken. Yep, Arcane Panda. So I'm going to give you a link. Oops, here we go. This is a link to Arcane Panda's video walkthrough. This is where I saw this deck for the first time. I loved the name of the deck, so I was like all about it as soon as I found. But look at this packaging. This is the cutest. Oh my God, this is the cutest packaging. Look at this. It like has this like lift up. It's very like recyclable, but it feels like it would actually hold up cute too. This is really adorable. I'm just going to show you guys a couple cards because I need to film a full walkthrough. Comes with a paper sleeve, very eco-conscious, no single-use plastic anywhere in this packaging at all. Not in the wrapping, not nowhere. And there's even the outer packaging, which was a like a bubble fast envelope, is recyclable, which is great. So there's a how to use the cards and hello, you beautiful soul. Here's what the backings look like of the first deck. Pretty, pretty. It says healing not broken at the bottom. And here is the art style. So this first card says, do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. Dalai Lama. Be the energy you wish to attract. Don't confuse what they say with who you are. Ooh, so good. So I'm not gonna get too deep in here because I know, like I said, I need to do a full walkthrough, but I'll do a full walkthrough of both of these, hopefully in the near-ish future, but I don't know because my filming time has been kind of hit or miss lately. But this is coming, so keep an eye out. And if you want to see all the cards, you can definitely see them all right now over at Arcane Panda's channel. I will make my video when I can, and I will be showing both decks. And as I said, there's also an interview with the creator on Arcane Panda's channel as well, so check that out. But that's how I found out about these and the creator, so full props over to Arcane Panda. Check that out. So that's my sneak peek. I will dive into those when I have time. Thank you all so much. And what else was I going to say? I think that's probably about it. I've been on almost 2 hours and Peggy's giving my eyeballs. So
I'm getting hungry.
She's getting hungry. Gotta have dinner. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Please do like the video if you enjoyed our live stream today. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here so you see my videos in your thread, your little subscription feed thingy. Hit the little bell so you get notified of my live streams and my new videos, all that good stuff. And remember, if you want to book a one-on-one tarot reading with me, you can always do that over at supportivetarot.com. Thank you so much, and may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye, guys.